Hello to each and everyone. So for today, I'll be sharing to you another lesson for basic calculus, which is part of the final examination this coming May 3, 2024. Okay? So our topic will be illustration of definite integral as the limit of Riemann sums. Okay, so di ba, on our first meeting, sa basic calculus, we discussed about sa limit. So pag sinabing limit, ito yung pinaka-boundary or approximately boundary ng isang function. But what is definite integral? So definite integral is the definition is closely related to the areas of certain regions in a coordinate plane. We can easily calculate the area of the regions bounded by lines. Okay, so pag sinabing bounded by lines, so straight line. So what if ang given natin is a curved line? Okay? So as you notice sa figure A, diba? Ang kukuhanin natin na area is under the curve. Okay? So ang gagawin natin is maglalagay tayo ng mga rectangles. As you notice sa figure B. And then i-add natin yung mga rectangles, di ba? Ano ba yung area ng rectangles? That is length times width. So i-add lang natin yung mga naka-inscribe na mga rectangles para makuha yung area no curve. Okay? Or yung area under the curve. Okay? So the boundary of the region formed by the totality of the rectangles is called an inscribed rectangular polygon. We shall use the following notation. So the area of inscribed rectangular polygon is approximately area under the graph of the function. So again, it is approximately. Okay, so parang estimation lang, approximation lang yung ginawa natin. As you notice here, diba, dun sa taas, okay, dito sa part ng taas or sa baba ng curve, sa taas ng rectangles, may mga gaps tayo na hindi na-solve dun sa ating rectangles. Okay? So, ito yung mga kulang dun sa area ng under the curve. Okay? So, meaning, approximation lang siya. Hindi siya yung total na area ng ating curve. So, areas under the curves can be easily estimated with rectangles. So, ang tawag sa estimation na yan is Riemann sums. Okay? So, ang Riemann sums is paglalagay ng pagsiset ng mga rectangles under the curve. Okay? So, as you notice here, kukunin natin na area is from 0.5 up to 5. Okay? So, kukunin natin na area is galing dito, ipapunta dito sa line na to. Okay? So, pag sa Riemann sums, solve natin yung rectangles, rectangle 1, rectangle 2, 3, rectangle 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay? So, as you notice, may mga gap dito. Okay? Meron din tayo mga excess doon. Okay? So, meaning, ang Riemann sums, hindi siya exact area ng ating under the curve. So, it's more on estimation. Okay? So, again, pag sinabing Riemann sums is the estimation of the area under the curve with the use of rectangles. Okay? So, our approximation gets better if we use more rectangles. So, for example, dito, para mas makuha natin yung approximate, yung pinakamalapit na estimation, mas maganda gumamit tayo ng maraming rectangles. So, pwede natin i-times to. Okay? So, hatiin natin sa dalawa. Itong rectangle na to. Okay, sorry. Bumabalik ko yung aking. Okay? Yan. Diba? So, habang dinadagdagan natin yung rectangle, mas lalo nagiging approximate, mas lalo lumalapit sa estimation yung ating area under the curve. So, this source of approximation called the Riemann sums. Our foundational tools for integral calculus. So, si Riemann sums yung pinaka-foundational tools for integral calculus. Our goal for now is to focus on understanding the three types of Riemann sums: the left Riemann sums, the right Riemann sums, and the midpoint Riemann sums. So, unfortunately, may konti na lang yung meetings natin. Okay, so hindi na muna natin i-discuss yung tatlong types of Riemann sums. Okay, so pinakita ko lang, pinatch lang natin, pahapya kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng Riemann sums. Okay, so dito tayo mag-focus in the illustration of the fundamental theorem of calculus. Dito natin magagamit talaga yung definite integral. The first part of the fundamental theory states that when solving definite integrals between 2 points A and B, just subtract the value of the integral to form from the value of the integral at B. So yung gagawin lang natin is minus natin yung integral A from B tsaka from point A. The second part of the theorem gives a definite integral of a function. It looks complicated, but it only tells you how to find the area between 2 points on a graph. So, nag-proceed na tayo dito since mas approximate, mas exact, kimukuha natin ng area compared dun sa Riemann sum. Sa Riemann sum kasi, it's more on approximation lang. Dito magiging exact yung area natin. Okay? So let us study the illustration below. Diba? So kailangan natin kunin yung area from point A up to point B using the function y is equals to f of x. So if f of x is continuous in the closed interval A and B, then ang gagamitin natin ng function ay the integral of f of x dx from point A to point B is equals to the, okay, the antiderivative fb minus the antiderivative fa. Okay, let's analyze more. So which simply states that if f is a continuous at an interval a and b, as the picture shows, then to evaluate the definite integral of a function f from a to b, okay, we must find its antiderivative f and compute the difference between the values of the derivative at b and a. So using the fundamental theorem of calculus, we may be able to get the exact values of the definite integrals without referring to the table of integrals. So F top or the fundamental theorem of calculus is usually used in getting the definite integral or getting the, highlight natin, the exact value of the area of curves or between two curves given the upper limit and lower limit. So balikan natin yung diagram kanina. So ito yung mga upper limit, ito yung upper limit, and ito yung ating lower limit. Okay, so kung titingnan natin sa graph, ito yung limit A and limit B. Okay, kumbaga ito yung ating mga interval. So this concept of fundamental theorem of calculus can also be written as, okay, the integral of f of x dx from point A to point B is equals to f of x b a. Okay, so instead of f of x plus c ang ilalagay, so magiging f of x tapos yung mga upper limit natin and lower limit. I'll change my ulit. Instead of f of x plus c, ang gagamitin natin is yung result ng ating antiderivative tapos upper limit and lower limit. So for better understanding of this theorem, just remember FES or FES. Okay, so para magamit natin yung F-top. So tatandaan, step 1, find the derivative of the function and write the value of point B and point A instead of point C. So that is step 1, F. Step 2, letter E, evaluate or replace x in the antiderivative, first using the value of point B, then point A. Okay, so kung ano yung value ng x natin, o yung x natin, papalitan natin from the given limits, upper limit and lower limit. And then last one, subtract the result of the point A from the point B, or point B minus point A. So for better understanding, let's try using this given. So evaluate the definite integral of x raised to 4 dx from 2 to 1. So from 1 to 2. Okay, so again, first is find the derivative or antiderivative of the function and write the value of point B and point A instead of point C. Okay? So that's answer. So again, so we have first get the antiderivative. So we have x raised to 4 dx. Okay, the antiderivative of this one is x raised to 4 plus 1, okay, over 4 plus 1. Okay, and then x raised to 5 over 5. So instead of plus, yung lalagay natin is yung ating upper limit and lower limit. So ang ating upper limit ay 2, ang ating lower limit ay 1. Okay, so it is the antiderivative function. And then, step 2, gamitin natin yung point B and point A. So again, ang ating given kanina is x raised to 5 over 5. Okay, so ang point B natin is 2. So it is 2 raised to 5 over 5. So it is 32 over 5. Okay, ang ating point A is x raised to 5 then over 5 yung ating function. And then palitan lang natin it is 1 raised to 5 over 5. And then this one is 1 over 5. Okay, and then step 3, we just need to subtract point B and point A. Ang ating point B ay 32 over 5. Ang ating point A ay 1 over 5. Okay? So, subtracting this one, since parehas naman sila ng denominator, so the final answer is 31 over 5. So, this is the exact value or the definite integral of x raised to 4 dx from closed interval 1 to 2. Okay? Bandali lang. Next, let's another example. Again, tatandaan the steps. F, find the antiderivative. E, evaluate. And S, subtract. Okay, so dito muna tayo sa ating step 1. So first, find the antiderivative of our given. So our given is the integral of 5x squared dx. Okay? Para hindi tayo nalilito, ilagay na natin ang ating mga limits. Okay? So, isolate ko lang si constant. And then, x squared dx. Okay, so 5 multiplied by x2 plus 1 over 2 plus 1. Okay, so I have 5x cubed over 3. Okay. Then, instead of plus c, yung ating upper limit and lower limit ang ilalagay natin. So, ito yung ating given function. Okay. And then, gagamitin ulit natin ating nakuha function. It is 5 third 5x cubed over 3. Ulit natin. 5x cubed over 3. Ang ating point B, yung ating upper limit ay 3. So, we have 5, 3 cubed all over 3. So, 5, 3 cubed, that is 27 over 3. Okay, so let's compute. So 5 times 27 over 3. Gamitin ko na yung cube. It is 45. Okay, dito naman, so we have 5. Ang ating x sa point A ay 2. So we have 5 raised to 3 1 over 3. Okay, so 2 raised to 2, that is 8. 1 over 3. Okay, so 40 divided by 3, that is That is 40 over 3. Ganda na lang muna yung lalagay. Yun natin. Para pag i-minus natin, hindi tayo mahirapan. So again, just subtract point B and point A. So you have 45 minus 40 over 3. So i-convert lang natin si 45 into fraction having the same denominator. So 45 is equivalent to 135 over 3 minus 40 over 3. And this one is equal to 135 over 3 minus 40 over 3, that is 95 over 3. So, tingnan natin kung pwede ba siya divide. So, that is 95 over 3. Final answer natin is 95 over 3. O kung gusto nyo, ng decimal, so pwede din 31.67. Okay? So, that is for example number 2. Di ba ang dali lang? So again, tatandaan lang yung mga steps. FES. Find the antiderivative, evaluate the value of x, and then subtract the result of point A from the point B. Next, so we can also use this definite integral, right, by means of substitution. So substitution. So let's have this one. So ang first step lagi sa pagkuha ng antiderivative is i-rewrite muna yung ating given. Okay, so first step, find the antiderivative. Is i-rewrite muna natin siya. Okay, so it is sine x squared x dx. Okay, and then apply your knowledge sa use substitution. Hanapin yung pinaka-complicated. So for this one, ang set natin na ui x squared. And then get the derivative. So the derivative of u is du. And the derivative of x squared dx is 2x dx. Okay? But unfortunately, ang nakalagay dyan is x dx. So para makuha si x dx, para ma-solve si x dx, i-divide natin both sides by 2. Okay? So cancel, cancel. So x dx natin is equals to, or is equal to du over 2. Okay, so I-write natin. So we have the integral of 0 pi over 4. Okay, as u substitution, sin x squared. Ang x squared daw natin ay u. So it is sin u. Ang x dx natin is equal to du over 2. And then isolate yung ating constant. So 1/2 integral of sin u du. So the integral of sin u du is, dito ko na siya ilalagay, is 1/2 negative cosine u. Okay, so again, instead of plus c, ilalagay natin na yung ating mga lower limit, which is 0, and upper limit, which is pi over 4. Okay? And then, ibalik natin in terms of x, yung ating ano, and then labas na natin si negative. So it is negative 1/2 cosine, ang u natin is x squared, so cosine x squared, upper limit, which is pi over 4, and then 0. Okay, so ating gagamitin for step 2. Okay, so again, i-write lang natin. So you have negative 1/2 cosine x squared, okay, and negative 1/2 cosine x squared. So unahin na natin dito kasi 0 siya. Negative 1/2 cosine 0 squared. Okay, so cosine 0 squared is, so let's solve cosine 0 squared. That is That is 1. Okay? We have negative 1 half. So this one is equivalent sa 1. Okay? And then, dito naman, negative 1 half cosine. Okay? Ang ating x ay pi over 4. So, pi over 4 squared. So, have negative 1 half cosine pi over 4 squared. That is pi squared over 16. Okay? And then, steps 3 na tayo. So, negative 1 half is cosine pi squared over 16 minus negative 1 half. So, final answer natin. So, since pares naman sila factorable by 1 half or negative 1 half, so lalabas ko sila. So, negative 1 half cosine pi squared over 16. So, negative that is positive. So, plus 1. Okay? So, it's negative 1 and negative. So, negative 1. Yan. Pero halimbawa, gusto nyo nasa labas ay 1 half lang. So, pwede naman yun. So, magiging ganito lang yung ating answer. 1 half negative cosine pi squared pi squared over 16 with plus 1. Okay? O para hindi naka-negative yon, so pwede naman yung answer natin is 1 half multiply by 1 minus cosine pi squared over 16. Okay, so either of the two. So pwede ito yung answer natin or ito yung answer natin. Okay? Alright. Kung negative yung 1 half natin, so positive si cosine, negative si 1. Pag positive yung 1 half natin, positive si 1, negative yung cosine pi squared over 16 natin. Okay? Ayun. So that is our discussion for definite integral. Okay? So ganun lang ang ating definite integral. Tandaan lang yung tatlong steps. Yung F, E, S, or FES. So find the antiderivative, evaluate the value of X in point A and point B, and subtract the results of from point A to point B o yung ating mga upper limits and lower limits. Okay, so that concludes our discussion. So by the way, after nito, mag-upload din ako ng part 2, okay, ng ating definite integral. Okay, so that is our discussion. So thank you. That's